Welcome back to Two Therapists Walk Into a Podcast. I am Stephanie Etzel, an LCSW here in Salt Lake City, Utah.
And I'm Robin Green, an LCSW in Tucson, Arizona.
In the last episode, we talked about inflammation, the gut, and the nervous system, and how immune response doesn't operate separately from lived experience. Today, we're moving into something that often sits alongside all of that. Uncertainty. Not occasional uncertainty, but baseline uncertainty.
What it's like to live in a body that doesn't feel predictable, where you wake up and you're not fully sure what version of your body you're going to get. Maybe you've canceled plans at the last minute because your energy shifted unexpectedly. Or you wake up already calculating what the day will cost you. After a while, that calculation stops feeling dramatic. It just becomes normal. And that unpredictability becomes its own stressor. Before we go any further, I would like to invite you just to notice what happens when you hear that phrase, a body that doesn't feel predictable. Is there some type of relief because someone named it? Is there tension because you live there? Maybe there's already a quiet inventory happening in your mind. What you have planned, how much energy it might require, what you'd cancel first if you had to. Just notice that. And notice where your body is supported right now. Allowing your breath to be neutral. There's nothing to fix in this moment. We are simply making space to think about something many people often navigate privately.
The nervous system relies on pattern. Predictability builds efficiency. When patterns are stable, the system doesn't have to work as hard. But when the body becomes unpredictable, energy shifts, pain flares, digestion changes, inflammation spikes, the nervous system loses pattern stability.
And when there's no stable pattern, the system compensates. You start scanning and planning contingencies. You think through exits before entering rooms, and you can calculate how long you can stay somewhere before you need to leave. And you pre-decide what you'll cancel if symptoms rise. And none of that is dramatic. It's really proportional. It's adaptive, and it's effortful. I think a lot of times people don't see that before somebody enters the public, and when that uncertainty becomes baseline, that vigilance of everything becomes background.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Anticipatory anxiety doesn't only happen around social situations. I think that's a myth. It happens around bodies. If you've experienced flares, crashes, or unpredictable reactions, your nervous system begins anticipating them, often procedurally, not consciously. That anticipation can affect sleep. It can affect digestion. It can tighten muscles before anything has actually gone wrong. With that, over time, sustained vigilance can subtly alter stress hormone patterns, disrupt restorative sleep, and amplify inflammatory signaling, keeping the body in a preparatory state even when no immediate threat is present. It's really exhausting.
Mm-hmm. And you might notice yourself hesitating before committing to anything or building your schedule around worst case energy scenarios, or even declining things, not because you don't really want to go. It's just because you can't really guarantee you're going to feel stable enough. And like we said before, it just kind of becomes that background noise. And you mentioned that it's exhausting. It's metabolically expensive. It quietly consumes your capacity.
I agree. I think sometimes when people are like, I just don't know what's wrong with me. I just feel so exhausted, or I just can't seem to get it together. And it
Mm-hmm.
just dumbfounds me how hard we are on ourselves for things that are biological and that are going to require a little different perspective, a little different care, I think.
Right. Yeah. Something I'd like to talk a bit about is grief that comes along with it. And I think this grief is subtle. It can show up as that double checking, the commitments, over explaining cancellations, and apologizing in advance, even for things that haven't happened yet.
It's astounding to see how conditioned we are to apologize consistently for things that are, again, probably not even our responsibility. So, granted, there's going to be grief here, grief for spontaneity, grief for reliability, grief for the version of yourself that didn't have to calculate this much.
And like you were kind of mentioning before, that grief gets misinterpreted sometimes as weakness or laziness or lack of that discipline. And living with that unpredictability requires that constant recalibration. That recalibration, like we have said, really takes energy. It's going to change how you see yourself. And I think that in and of itself, changing how you see yourself is a lot of the grief too. And that can shift identity, competence, dependability, even confidence. And you might start questioning your reliability or whether you can trust your own capacity in ways that you really didn't have to before. And I don't really think that that's fragility. It's adaptation, because it has to be in that changing system, and you are that changing system.
Absolutely. Here's a nervous system nugget for today. Uncertainty is a stressor. Predictability builds capacity. When the nervous system can't predict, it prepares. Preparation often looks and feels like tension, or scanning, or holding back, censoring what you're really thinking or feeling. When predictability increases, even slightly, the system spends less energy bracing for disruption. That reclaimed energy becomes usable capacity. And I don't know that we realize all the other behaviors we're exhibiting is taking up all that bandwidth. And when we stop doing it, our energy is replenished. It's pretty incredible. One practical shift we've seen help is something we call range planning. Instead of rigid plans, you build ranges. Plan A, plan B, and don't forget, you got to have a rest plan.
Yeah, exactly. Plan A is what you hope for. Plan B is a scaled version if your energy dips. And then the rest plan, don't look at it as failure. It's just pre-decided care. It's that built-in, it's that insurance. It's different from avoidance. It's going to be that structural flexibility. And I think this is really going to reduce that anticipatory load before those symptoms even appear. And this is because the nervous system isn't scrambling to renegotiate in that real time. So then flexibility increases stability, which in turn allows you to trust yourself. And then that trust in yourself is going to build that safety capacity as well.
It's a wonderful cycle in the direction that we want to be moving.
Exactly.
Just think about it. Living in a body that feels unpredictable, it changes how you move through the world. Naming that doesn't make you fragile. It actually makes you accurate.
In the next mini episode, we'll talk about what happens when symptoms flare without warning and how to anchor when control disappears.
Can't wait. Until then, remember, healing isn't linear, and we're here for the ride. This podcast is for educational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for therapy, medical care, or professional advice.
Listening to this podcast or this episode does not create a therapeutic, clinical, or professional relationship with us.
If you're experiencing distress, physical symptoms, or emotional concerns that feel overwhelming, we both encourage you to seek support from a qualified healthcare or mental health professional.
And if you are in immediate danger or need urgent support, please contact local emergency services or a crisis line in your area.